if Alliance can get past the early stages, if they can get to the point of initiation, then VP could be having some decent trouble on this map. I'm, however, not certain how long it's going to take for Star to get to his Blink Dagger to reduce that space against Drow Ranger, because the Gust is going to stop his charge, especially when you also get that 5th pick Bane up from Virtus Pro.
I mean, my question is, can they handle the Broodmother? Looks like they have opted for a support Queen of Pain. Nuts will be playing that with Dust and Sentries already up on him. S4 will be playing the safe lane Wind Ranger, so that looks to be their solution for the Phobos Brood. I don't know if that's going to be enough, though. I mean, I guess they can right-click him a lot, but I don't think they can zone him out at all.
Can they really do this, though? Because how is Admiral Bulldog going to go up against this Shadow Fiend? He can't control the SS farm, so that means you're basically saying that you're willing to give God whatever items he wants at 15 minutes.
I mean, and kind of Phobos, too, I would say. Most of the times we've seen teams handle Brood, especially an early pick Brood, is just picking 2 supports that are pretty much on full-time Brood control duty, letting your safe lane farm up, usually a Gyro or a Slaughter, and then after that, your safe lane carry strong enough to deal with an under-leveled Brood, but we'll see if they can keep him under-leveled in this game.
I thought Phobos would have tried to contest for that bottom rune. At least makes Alliance burn something to try and grab that bottom rune.
Oh, he doesn't know where the supports are.
True.
But, I mean...
And maybe he doesn't also want to reveal his position this early on, because you might be thinking, oh, it could be a Brood.
I mean, there you have the webs
it's not a Brood safe lane. You're running a Drow Ranger. She is safe lane until she gets buffed.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Phobos actually make a move for the rune, too, because... people are missing, but it's like a Lich. Lich level 1 Nova is not that scary, and it slows down his level 2 a lot.
Looks like S4 ends up rotating towards the middle lane, so they give Nuts this Queen of Pain and run him on the bottom lane. So Admiral Bulldog, he's able to do the pull through, and they are actually kind of changing this around where we run 2 3.5 positions for Alliance with Nuts and Bulldog.
Yeah, they're playing pretty darn greedily with Bulldog starting up in the jungle, but I think it's going to be pretty okay for them as long as Nuts doesn't die in the bottom lane. But as Queen of Pain, you might be limited in terms of farm, but...
Well, you need to get the levels up anyway. Like the panel was saying, they were really concerned about running a support Queen of Pain because you don't find these early levels, so you don't really have that clearance against the Brood Spiderlings, or actually just really having an effect in the game, because that's what my Nuts wants to search for. He wants to have that quick level 6, run around the lanes, blink him, Sonic Wave, and then with the power shot shackle from S4, that's basically a guaranteed kill over on God, and on the top lane, it'll be a pretty well guaranteed kill on a Drow.
So 3-1 for Drow Visage or 3-0 for Espero. I think they've been the most successful with the Drow Ranger this tournament. Unfortunately, Mineski couldn't pull the same thing.
No, they could not.
Well, Phobos doing a good job of leeching the experience, trying to just make Admiral Bulldog a little bit underfarmed. But he already has a Wolf, so he's pretty happy, and Nuts is pretty happy too.
In fact, all of Alliance would be very happy. If you check out the quick levels, normally this early on it doesn't really mean as much, especially when you're 2 minutes in. But when Nuts is able to hit 3.5 levels, Doombringer is just behind level 3 because of Sacrifice now being reworked. You get that direct experience with the Lich. He's also pushing up the levels and keeping it away from Illidan. Illidan, it's a Drow Ranger. It's almost like the same story like a Spectre. You need to keep that support up, middle lane. God, well, he's in real trouble. The double damage. S4 will get the last attack. Actually, no, Bane! He denies him up, and now S4, they turn it around! FNG finds it only 1, but he can go for a second. The space away from Nuts. Nuts is actually dying to that nightmare, but he will not go the whole way. Oh my.
Oh, big plays coming out from FNG yet again. That was a great save from him, and that's kind of the threat of the Queen of Pain support. Like, she can be anywhere and blink Shadow Strike with a lot of right clicks, and especially with the double damage rune.
It's crazy to think that they didn't get the last hit, but it was also because Nuts and S4 both backed up a little bit further. They both didn't attack at the same time. That would have made that deny impossible for FNG to achieve.
Well, G kind of hid himself in a pocket, or tried to hide himself in a Tango pocket. So Loda not really getting pressured that much on the top lane. He has 11 denies. Combine that with Ake's, it's crazy.
They're just keeping this top lane down. And a Drow range without level 6 is kind of, well, nothing.
And I mean, without farm too. She has 3 last hits. Loda has 11.
Yeah, it's a hard life for Dro. Once you hit level 6, though, that farm really does kick back your way, just because of the massive increase in damage and the speed you get. But yeah, they still need to then give her the space. But how do you really give Dro Ranger space when you can just get Frost Blasted and then charge into a Crush?
To jump on Phobos. He gets dusted.
Yeah, they are moving in. Admiral Bulldog, though, there's...
Oh, he's trapped!
Okay, he's out. He's out. Coming underneath that tier 1 tower. It's fair enough the Bulldog has the confidence. Like, he's got the high level up in Scorched Earth. Phobos doesn't want to, like, commit too heavily to this.
Yeah, I mean, Blink level 2 Shadow Strike is pretty good. I don't think he has an no UV on Bulldog. That would make it a little bit easier for them.
What's the best build here for Doombringer as well? Like, knowing you're going to go up against the Harassment of the Broodmother, is it worth building the earlier points like the headdress? Middle lane they're going again, but Invis Rune gets him away. As looks like Nightmare up on the top, Loader, they're going to switch it around, move back over to Lil. That wasn't really part of the plan. And then the Crush will allow Alliance to disengage, bouncing the Nightmare position around.
So again, Illidan goes for this no Frost Arrows build. It's nice to have the stats to pop up your Precision Aura, but it definitely suffers during the laning phase. You can't harass freely without the Orb Walk, and can't really chase people down. I think that plus the Grave Chill could actually lead to a couple of kills, but he's more banking on their strong mid game and everyone just getting a ton of damage from the Precision Aura.
I think he also understands in this lane that he won't find early kills with the Cold Arrows. Like, yeah, they got buffed a fair few patches ago.
They were close.
You can get away with having level 2 Cold Arrows, but when you could be going up against like Lich hitting level 4 with Frost Armor, Arcade bypassed that. He went for the 202 build instead. But it would make it almost impossible for Dro Ranger to keep up. And you don't really have that damage output until you get your treads as well as your ulti up and running.
Yeah, it also makes the Visage Birds pretty much a 6th hero with lots and lots of
Loader
stats.
starts to sprint. God, did he see him? I think he did. He's going to back out towards that tier 1 tower, away from S4. But now it's FNG who's in a bad position. So is Lil. He came down into the river. Nuzzle blink forward. He wants to kill over an FNG, but the Nightmare and Brain Sap, it's just control going either way. Arcade, not a healthy man with a Frost Blast. He has enough damage to inflict into the Bane, allowing Queen of Pain. In fact, it was nuts to get the kill. But Arcade will survive.
Nice bottle by S4 to protect the Lich. Almost no chance of a kill after that bottle came out. Still, they're in a position to dive Bulldog right now. Looks like people are headed down there. G with the raise. Scorched Earth going to be down in just a few seconds. This is prime time.
That it is, especially when Bulldog moves over to pick up Face Boots, but Nuts is rotating down. He doesn't have a high level, so I don't know if he can really help out Admiral Bulldog. Yeah, 2 raises from God up at level 4. That's an easy mop up on Admiral Bulldog.
And now you really have to be worried about this tower falling down pretty soon. And even if the tower doesn't fall, Phobos can just farm both of the jungle camps.
FNG, they find Loader. Loader starting the Crush, but the Nightmare just by a space for FNG to get out. They might flag the fact that FNG did drop to the ward, but I haven't seen a ping out from Alliance. They may not have noticed it happened.
Yeah, I don't see a move from the Queen of Pain to buy sentries.
Space created for Illidan. That level 6 is rapidly approaching, and it's not just for her, it's for the SF. The SF already has a bonus 14 damage available, and that's on top of everything else he's got. Okay, this is probably going to be, in fact, it will be a very, very dead Phobos. With a dust out in him, he's got nowhere to run to. He can't deny himself up. He put the pilings in. It will be the kill. Solo going the way of Admiral Bulldog. A good first use of Doom.
Yeah, nice pick up at the dust by him. And overall, VP really just trying to get levels, I think, on the Visage and the Dro Ranger. Lil's not that high level, but level 4.5 is pretty decent, considering he had to deal with the Lich in the lane as well as try and constantly harass him down, so Lotus doesn't get free farm. And Lotus farm has significantly slowed down.
Yep. He can't control the lane anymore, and he can't also stop Illidan from farming. That's why Nuts has to rotate up, but he's still not level 6 yet. They need to have a couple more successful rotations from him. Yeah, you got 1 kill, there's no deaths to his name. But catching Lil out here before he hits level 6 is a big thing too, slowing down these familiars coming online. And again, that God rotation to bottom lane. Trying to team up with Phobos.
So both teams have kind of traded jungles. You see Alliance drop down to a Zerward and constantly look there to scat out the SF and hopefully gank him while he's taking a stack up. But G is nowhere to be found. He's already in the Radiant jungle.
He just runs away, looks for the opening, and may actually find one over here on Nuts. 2 raises, the blink from Nuts. He actually waits a while before throwing it out.
And back to your early question about build on Doom, I think the mech build is really useful here. I mean, they're pretty much all in on physical damage, I would say, with Shadow Fiend minus Aura, Visage, and Drow Ranger. So
is there anyone else from the team that would actually build it anyway?
I mean, Wind Ranger, but that's a far outdated build.
Yeah. And you really need to see that Aghanim, like that damage coming out from the Wind Ranger.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could see it on the Queen if she were more farm, like maybe a Guardian Greaves, so...
You need more successful rotations for that to work.
Yeah.
Bulldog's got a little bit of an army behind him. He's got no Scorched Earth available. The Face Boots are still up, but only having the Pack Wolf Aura gives him no real defensive nature. I guess it's only due to the wand as well as that ring that he's looking at some armor points to keep him alive.
I mean, alternatively, he could just get a blink and just all run in on Drow Ranger. You want to eliminate her at the start of the fight, and with a potentially early blink on Slardar and an early blink on Doom and Queen of Pain, you just dump all your bursts onto Drow Ranger, and there goes a lot of their damage in team fights.
Yep.
I mean, she just needs to stay alive. She doesn't even have to be anywhere near the fight. Yep, already a lot of agility up on the Drow.
Just starting to rack it up. Phobos is going to make the most out of this timing from Virtus Pro. So they can start attacking into the top tier 1 tower. Loader as well as Arcade are doing a pretty damn good job of throttling this lane still. But it's just a heavy farm start of the game. You look at God, straight back into his jungle. Like, he just needs like another 500 gold or so, and he's already got that full mech completed. Then maybe VP can force out the lanes, because around that time, Lil will also crack his level 6, so the Familiars will be online then, and that buys space for Phobos to push in through the bottom lane, and use that Orchid to maybe even get a kill of his own on that Doombringer.
Again, VP always seem one step ahead of Alliance, though. Phobos like controls the entire Radiant jungle, so he can scout out if the supports are doing anything funny, or they're pulling, or if they're even rotating down to kill him. And because no one's actually down there, they expect him to be in VP's own jungle. And that forces G to move all the way to the bottom lane. But I think G, with only 1 death right now, with Alliance's movement and focus on the Dire jungle, is pretty incredible. So we'll see Loda hit level... I mean, he's already level 6, so they could potentially throw him down in the lane versus the Broodmother. But I think they're actually worried about that lane potentially being dove, because Phobos keeps creep skipping as well as taking out the small camp.
How are you even meant to do anything about this? So the Drow range has moved off the lane completely, so you can't even gank her up. She's farming up the Ancients at the moment. So you're getting some easy levels. Lil just keeps that tower up, expecting some kind of initiation from Alliance. Because Admiral Bulldog also hasn't rotated off yet. Like, he stays down here, S4.
They're making a move on top, though.
He takes so much damage, and in fact, the TP out, it will allow him to survive. But that move up on top, like, how do you even do this? Lil's Familiars will stop you, and in fact, you then just have TPs in from VP. Like,
yeah.
This push is, like, this gank is just going to fail unless Nuts gets the perfect Scream Sonic Wave off. And in fact, Lil already left.
Oh, wow. Looks like they might actually go for Roshan right now. They saw the Wind Ranger TP out. They see a couple heroes up on top, and that's a signal for them.
Well, the damage output is still pretty damn high.
Oh, they're actually trying to counter it, but they haven't completed it on G.
Arcade's coming over. He would love to throw out a good ulti right now. That Bane's so low. A Lich ulti would end up killing him off, but they don't want to commit something that big. The mech charge now triggered. FNG going to get focus fire down, but the brain step keeps him alive. Back to Arcade. Soul Assumption down. He knows all about that Visage. Dies to it, and the crush from Loda. It's just keeping the spiralings off from Admiral Bulldog. Jumped all the way in. He gets a tomb over on God, and they end up surviving. FNG can't get in range for the brain sap. And now the fight splits into multiple parts once again. The bigger part is going to be Loda, able to get that Amplify up over on Phobos. The power shot's really flying astray from S4. And Roshan's still alive. 2.3k on the life. Gets that clap off. And these VP taking extra damage, but the Lions are in no position to contest him now. VP, they get the Aegis onto God.
Oh, that was really smart of them. They utilize the Brood incredibly well into their lineup. Like, they take the fight around where Brood is, so she can come in with like 20 Spiderlings, and they're forced to use a lot of spells. I saw like a Crush on it, Power Shot, multiple Screams coming out from the Queen of Pain, just to deal with the Broodlings. And after that, they don't really have enough damage to burst through the mech and the Brain Sap heal from Bane, and it was a wonder FNG survived that fight.
I'm really surprised too that Arcade didn't just commit the ulti, take that Bane out of play straight away. because it bought time for VP to come out and get that mech off.
Well, you expect them to be clumped up in the Roshan pit as they were,
Yeah.
so he was waiting for a better opportunity to cast it, and even killing Bane wouldn't have been that great of a threat for them, though. He just got a brain step off and then kind of wandered around looking for another brain step, but he was too low to, he had to be super wary of the straight power shot.
Loader's in trouble. In fact, Loader is dead. Fiend's grip on bottom lane. The Brewlings are all there. Phobos has soaring off cooldown 1 second time. So he can throw another spawn Spiderlings into him, and there goes Loader. Down for the count. S4 gets a trade-off by taking out the tier 1 tower on top, but that's directly after VP took the tier 1 in mid, and now they even assault into the tier 2. And Alliance is not ready to fight this. So you could throw that Sonic Wave out from Nuts, but he doesn't want to commit it for just a standard defense against VP Spiders.
VP uses the Brood in a very unique way, though, especially in this game. So they see Alliance trying to play greedily and, somewhat sack the Queen of Pain / the Doombringer, and instead they farm up both jungles at the start. They stacked up the jungle for Shadow Fiend, and then after that they also utilize the Ancients and the Pool. So they're getting pretty much farm everywhere on the map.
And that Doombringer, like, you talk about sacrificing him, he's the top net worth for Alliance. Like, the Wind Ranger and Slana are so far behind. Loader is just begging he can get to this Blink Dagger, now about 75 gold away from completing it. And I wonder just how much of this is valuable net worth on the Doombringer. Because he's walking around with a Vlad now, 1900 gold just sitting in his bank account. He's obviously looking to get to that Blink Dagger so he can have some kind of jump in initiation so he can be more of the target.
I mean, they kind of banked all in on the early game too, with the Lich committed to bolster their lanes.
Well, that worked still. It worked. There just was no transition for him.
I mean, it worked kind of for one lane, and then after like 5 minutes, it just, he couldn't touch creeps anymore.
Here they come. Blink from Nuts with a power shot. Well, it just takes out the Firelings only. There was no damage really done to VP, and Loader revealed his Blink Dagger by putting that amplification over on God. But VP just easily taking out that tower. Doombringer was not ready for the fight. He was a long way off, and in fact, you're actually looking at Doombringer going for the bigger items. He's got the plate mail on himself at the moment. Probably looking for that Shiva's guard.
Yep, they need armor. I still think they need a mech, though, if they want to actually take VP head-on. But, I mean, if they don't, which it looks like they don't really feel confident in that, even with the Frost armor up on their heroes, then VP is just going to farm the entire map and have 4 cores with little transitioning into damage.
Man, really comfortable for Virtus Pro. It would take...
Oh, there's an Orchid up already. He's going to go for a kill on Nuts. I don't think it's been scouted out quite yet.
He just saw him down the side. If you mean the Orchid?
Yeah.
It's so difficult to do that, however. Like, Phobos shows himself for a fraction of a second, then runs himself back over into the tree line. Getting clear vision on Phobos is difficult. But they have the Observer and the Sentry on bottom lane. Now the Sentry times out. So they may have seen it fly in.
So this is really good versus Queen, really good versus Wind Ranger, even I'd say pretty good versus the Doombringer.
This is really good for them. They're smoked up on top of a dire Observer ward. Well, it could have been until the smoke broke.
I mean, they're in a position to kill G2.
Oh god, the Fiend's grip, Admiral Bulldog, the Shackle ends up, well, the only just fly out. There's a big crush over on VP with a literally bouncing around. God's very low, the focus fire from S4 doesn't work. They'll still lose Nuts as well as Loader. And Alliance have to bail out of here. All they end up doing for that big crush, for the big ulti, is taking out the Aegis.
It was looking pretty good. The Chain Frost was decent, but so many summons from the Broodmother, so many creeps coming out, and of course, like, the double heal from Brain Sap and Mech also kind of mitigated that. And Queen of Pain blinked in, she got obliterated. She does not have enough armor to blink in there.
It could have been a very different story if that Shackle came out a fraction earlier from S4, because he could have cancelled the Requiem of Souls. And that would have made a very, very different fight. Now, jump forward, the Doom's over on Illidan's. There should be a very dead Dro Ranger. FNG hanging behind him. They got that scream damage, but God also looking for the raise. Hits pretty hard to Admiral Bulldog. FNG low, RK with the last attack. He'll kill off FNG. As Admiral Bulldog forced back as those familiars keeping him out of the fight. It's Nuts who moves forward to take out Visage as we split once again. God just bailing out. The amplification keeps the vision on him, and Loader, he really wants to go for more. If he blinks to crush, he could catch out Phobos. But already VP, they're happy to fully disengage.
Yeah, VP committing a little bit too much to the high ground push, probably not expecting Alliance to respawn so quickly. It's only level 8 on Slardar.
And we have to remember, we're still only 18 minutes into the game. It's just so much Alliance get back from that. Like, they got 2k net worth from that, 2k gold from that. The net worth is roughly about 2k as well. But it's the time to be on the map, and the kills mean so much for Alliance when you get even trade-offs.
But still, they lose their towers, and Phobos is just able to farm the entire Radiant jungle before it was only like half.
True. Also with VP, where they focus that tower attack. Like, you're running a safe lane Drow Ranger, instantly then I just scrap the Radiant tier 1. But the Radiant tier 1 is still up and kicking. VP instead focused on pushing down the mid, push
this is going to be an
buy space for
unexpected
that
smoke.
brood. Yeah, they're coming. Arcade does have his ulti back up again. There's no Doom for 15 seconds, so Admiral Bulldog can be the bait. Loader just blinks himself away. Admiral Bulldog getting custed for a little bit. Slowed down by the Grave Chill, but VP, they're not close enough to attack. The Inscript range is not far enough for FNG.
It was still a good try by VP. They wanted to get a grip on someone. If Slaughter has to blink in, he's very likely going to die, and even if he does, the rest of the team can't really follow up with that. So that's... Well, it was a good idea by VP. It looks like they just want to go for the bounty that is the T1 and the T2 towers on the left side of the map. But, I mean, who do you really doom here, though? If you doom the Drow Ranger, she still has precision aura.
Yeah.
Then Shadow Fiend has like a lot of HP, and next time he's in a good position to get doomed, he'll likely have the Aegis.
It's almost worth just taking out the Bane, so you take out the control factor of VP. Like, you still got the Familiars, which do a decent work, but he's still the primary disabler.
And Illidan has a Dark Troll Summoner. This could be pretty problematic, actually, for Slardar or Doom, who want to actually chase the Drow Ranger down.
Alliance just dodged this so hard. They don't really want to find... S4 just bought out as well, because he purchased the Aghanim Scepter. He really needed it as well, but with Nuts forcing in the mid lane and now rotating in the bottom lane, VP won't feel too comfortable, and they're not really pressured to push either, are they? Because, like, what's really the problem of this game going a little bit later? You got Ness, Drow, and Broodmother who are all looking very, very good for that 20 to 40 minute area.
Yeah, I don't really think that they're worried at all. And Alliance have just a difficult time itemizing. They want a lot of armor versus the precision aura and the birds. They also want BKBs at some point so they don't get blasted by the Requiem. I mean, they need Blink so they can initiate with some of their heroes. And Queen of Pain is not sure what she's saving up for. She has 1,600 gold.
What would you even get in this game?
I'm not sure. She had to deal with the Orchid, so that's where some Queen of Pains turn towards the Yules, but at some point she's likely going to need a BKB 2. But once they get, let's say, another armor item up on Doom, I think he can actually be a pretty good front line.
They might just try and buy a little bit more time. If Queen of Pain has a half-decent fight, maybe going in for the Aghanim Scepter might be a good option too.
Yeah, but they can't stall for too long, or else VP will get another Aegis and then take down that T3 tower, which is already at 200 HP.
True. And Alliance aren't fighting much more while they're just sitting inside their base or close to their base farming. Like, Loda's not getting his big life item. It's such a raw slaughter. He almost relies more on the Frost Armor than anything else to keep himself alive during the fight. But there's just no survivability on him. The Shiva's Guard is now done for Admiral Bulldog. So you can please this at the 22-minute mark and still say it's above the net worth of the Drow Ranger. When you're 5 towers behind, that's not really a bad thing.
Alliance is still getting a decent amount of farm up on the map, though, and they've kind of limited the gold. It's been 7,500 gold for the past 6 or 7 minutes, and this may kind of lend VP, or make VP want to get a gem, because they know that Alliance is kind of moving around where they're moving around, because they're kind of forced to stick as 5, so...
Alliance are coming.
Yeah.
As God just playing around with that ulti of his, and VP actually smoked. They're waiting. They're waiting for Alliance to come over the hillside. Now, one Familiar is going to show themselves the power shot. Loader, he blind blink crushes in. But VP do not react. They're quite happy to wait.
Well, they have the Broodlings pushing in the mid lane. It might take out the T1, T3 tower all by itself.
Wow, that's too easy. Wind Ranger, S4 will end up denying it.
And if they see the TP back,
VP now push.
Oh, actually, their
smoke's going to run out underneath that obs.
They moved the Familiar away from the pit, so they actually don't know when Roshan's going to be up. But, I mean, they could have done it if it were up right then, but S4 is kind of close enough to his team now that VP don't really want to go for that engage where it would have almost certainly been a 5-on-4 before. So, Visage Bird will scout it out, starts getting beat on by Roche.
Gotta keep those Familiars alive. But Lil's in the perfect position he wants to be in. He's got to resummon the Familiars coming into this fight. That's a lot more instant damage coming the way of VP. Another power shot from S4, just scouting out. They really do not want to give VP this Roshan. And VP want Alliance to go in and try and take it themselves.
But now they're walking right under VP's eyes, and with S4 going in, it might be their time to go in. So S4 reveals himself, and immediately they go in. But now they see Alliance.
This one bloody Sata. it's moving over.
S14 under HP.
It's just purging out Admiral Bulldog at the moment. Roshan is dying so quickly.
Illidan has actually been favoring the Purge creep a lot, but I think both times it's been versus a Lich to remove the Frost Armor.
Oh, there goes Roshan. Admiral Bulldog nightmared up and isolated inside the river with the Fiend's Grip as well. The Shackle cancels that. Loader moves forward. Focus fire. They already burned through the Aegis Immortal. Illidan finds safety in the Roche Pit. But what more can VP get? Now they're back alive. But Arcade, well, that's what they can get. The Broodmother just attacking the pulse support from behind, and Alliance is split into 2 and 2. 2 to the west, 2 to the east.
They immediately get the Aegis though, and Doom is not expended. So I think Alliance are still fairly healthy for this high ground defense. But I don't know, maybe without the T3 though, that's going to be a tough one. And no items up on Slaughter. All he has is Tranquil and Blink Dagger.
Yeah, he's so fragile right now. And you look at the comparison between him and then someone like God who just completes a BKB with the mech and the mana style. Getting through him, even with amplification, which is still only level 1. Loader is still level 9, 25 minutes into this game.
Yeah, he's really fallen off compared to his counterpart. I guess you can kind of consider Loader the position 3 this game. Yep. So if you compare him to the Brood is over double Loader's net worth.
It looks like Nuts is going for the delay build. He's going for that Aghanim Scepter build for the Queen of Pain. Gives time maybe for S4 to get a little bit more damage out of him. I'm still looking at the Visage. Like, Lil's going to have this Aghanim Scepter up by probably like 32 minutes into the game.
It depends on when they want to push. If they want to push right now, he can just complete the Solar Crest and they can be done with the game. But it's still, I think, a little risky to push right now. If they had the Aegis, I would say it's fine. But without that, I don't know if they want to take that risk. They've been burned on so many high ground pushes this tournament.
I'm trying to do the calculation of just how much damage Dro is now giving over to the SF when she also brings that Alpha Wolf down with her. Like, the SF's hitting roughly around, or just shy of 300. When in range of that Alpha Wolf, it's an easy 300.
Yeah, I mean, even Bane's hitting for plus 55. It's pretty good.
So using Alpha Wolf and Familiars together to push out that top lane. Don't have to commit a real hero to do it. And you are right, like, maybe they want to win this game now. That Solar Crest done over on Lil. It is the standard build for him. But just when you have such a great start, easy money for him.
I think they're worried about Alliance getting BKBs up on Doom and Slaughter, which probably will eventually come out. And then at that point, they can just run down the Drow Ranger. And they don't even have to kill her. They just have to make sure that they're in range of her to, disable the marksmanship.
Yep. Might be easier with these 4 staffs arriving. I say 4 staffs plural when it's only 1. It looks like the starting build for the Slaughter. Unless he... What else would you even get on this Slaughter? Like, Blink Dagger 4 staff would make sense.
I mean, BKB if you're position 1. but I don't know.
But he bought the extra ring, which is like, it's not an item where you're committed into the 4 staff.
It helps versus the Orchid, for sure. He can push out the Wind Ranger or the Queen of Pain, but, I mean, you want your Slaughter to be able to do damage, to be able to stay in there and fight.
Real trouble for him. Nightmare, Fiend's Grip, and God, well, he's going to wind it up and let it rip. S4 can't win run away. That Requiem as well as Ray's doing all the work, and that's 50 seconds without a buyback for the Wind Ranger. And in fact, they might even lose Nuts. He's orchid it up, can't get himself away. He's going to pop to the Broodmother, and there's 2 heroes down. Queen of Pain can buy back, but this is really going to set it back on the Aghanim Scepter. But what's your other choice? You're going to lose mid.
I mean, Alliance are just feeling squeezed out of the map right now. They're just like, okay, we're getting off farms.
Gotta be careful when he gets gust silence like that by Illidan. That's a level 4 as well. That silence lasts for so long. So the range racks drops.
I mean, where's the wave clear? All these Broodlings are still up.
No, they need Sonic Wave. You actually need his trigger off the Shiva's guard as well as a Scorched Earth, but now they run themselves in and they do get that combo off, but God, he just ends around with a BKB up. Another Orchid's already going off on Admiral Bulldog. It looks like he'll end up surviving. He won't pop from it. And Nuts jumps forward. The Sonic Wave's already been blown. S4 can't find that shackle. Only that first little initial stun on Illidan. And these familiars from Lil buy them the space, but Alliance, they need kills. A blink crush from Loda, catching Ilden as well as FNG. FNG looks for the Nightmare, the silence. Okay, it's not going to do enough. Not while the Lich Hold is bouncing around already. And Nut is forward. Ilden, Mana Style breaking free, but the Shiva's guard slows him back down again. And another crush from Loda, giving S4 a double kill. They don't even need the creep wave. They can just take this tier 1 tower. We've got focus fire back off cooldown in just a moment. So good exit kills on VP. But you still lost your ranged racks again.
Yeah, I don't think they expected to get chased down that much, but you have Doom with extra movement speed and a blink dagger, and you have Sara also with extra movement speed and a blink dagger. So, I mean, they chased up all the way from the T3 to the T1, and Alliance definitely getting way more out of that. I don't think the range rack is worth it at this point.
They're really pushing this harder. They don't have Lich ulti up, but man, Sonic Wave's still on cooldown for a very long time. But Doom is available, so if VP do try to engage with just 1 or 2 heroes, Alliance could kill them off.
And the familiars were in a position to try and cut them off in case they decided to split up in a disorderly fashion. But VP, knowing that the Roshan is not up and was not able to respawn in that period of time too, they were willing to take that risk.
Alright, Nut still had to expend his buyback, but even with that, after the fight, he's 300 gold away from the Ags. For me, I still find this is going to be like the most critical item that'll allow Alliance to have some breathing room inside their base. The ability every second wave to throw out that ultimate, get rid of the momentum that VP have coming in. Like
Yeah.
you've still got Power Shot, you've still got Scream. Admiral Bulldog, he waited so long. He waited until the team fight happened to do the Scorched Earth plus Shiva's Guard combo. He doesn't want to have to use that to clean up Spiderlings.
And they don't have that much HP on the side of VP. Like, Shadow Fiend went for an Eagle Song, so that's where the Scream of Pain and the Sonic Wave and the Shiva's Guard especially, I think, really can burst them down. And also the Shackle Shots from Wind Ranger. So they have multiple blinks. They have so many ways of jumping in. Like 3 of their heroes have Blink Dagger. One of them has Blink, and it's not like you really would need one on a Lich. So they can definitely get the jump on VP. They have to be very careful about how they proceed.
FNG and Lil, they're moving in closer. Arcade's being hunted down by familiars at the moment. Luckily for him, it's not agged up for Lil just yet. So he is just going to TP himself back to base and away. Alliance just don't want to be fighting this. They want to do exactly what they're doing. They're allowing Loda to farm up on this top. He does finish with the 4-staff. Nuts gets more space in the bottom lane. Just pushing it out, getting momentum more than anything else. So when VP do try and siege Alliance in, they're not worried about being attacked on multiple sides. And what has VP really got? Like, their split push still comes from the Broodmother. And this is a Brood ticking down.
All Brood and Familiar and Precision Aura. They can push out lanes.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
But I think that Alliance are doing a really good job of placing the wards around the map too. Because VP still doesn't have a gem, so they actually have this really nice ward in the mid lane to see that no one's behind the Broodmother, and that was a potential kill, especially with the sentry placed behind. So they're in a position, very good position to get pickoffs.
S4 ended up just going for the YOLO Shackle. He blinked forward hoping the Broodmother was still going to be in the mid.
I mean, there's not that many opportunities where VP are that split up. I guess we see Lil split up right now.
Bottom lane, Crush, yeah, going to go on him. These familiars are still here with stuns, but with the Shackle Shot, it doesn't last, but Lil, the focus fire damage from S4. Combining it with that Chrysalis does some serious work. And with the Visage down, like, he does have resummon so he can get these familiars back when he respawns the next time. But there's still 200 extra gold going the way of Alliance, and the forcing of the resummon. As long as Admiral Bulldog doesn't die here in mid lane, 4-staff up from FNG, he was starting that. He was starting the Fiend's Grip. The hands went up in the air, but Bulldog gets away just in time.
And now Alliance gonna encounter a run of bad luck with the Roshan respawn. Looks like it was 2:30 after the 8.
Takes a while, man.
I mean, they would have been in a really good position though had they been able to get that. And because even if Lil buys back, it's not like he can really walk himself over there. It's mostly his birds doing a large amount of damage, and it's not like Alliance really have to worry about a lot of AoE that VP has coming out, so they can clump inside the pit without really having their positioning be at a bad position.
Yeah. It's not like they got something like that Slaughter Crush and then the big follow-up Requiem of Souls. There's no AoE control. That's kind of what they had, like, a lot more in game number 1. That was when you had, like, your Darkseer doing serious lifting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alliance don't really have to worry about clumping as long as they can, let's say, I guess, doom the Shadow Fiend if he's channeling Requiem. So G will have to be clever about his Manta usage if he wants to get it off.
Free gold on legs on the bot. Just scouting out Alliance, aka Spiderlings of the Broodmother.
It doesn't feel like VP have a 12k gold lead though. It
really
seems
doesn't.
Much less. Or a range racks up for that matter. But you know, this is kind of what happens when you have a Brood on your team.
It's just the fact like you just don't like it's the effective gold on the map. You don't really feel it from the SF until the fight begins, and now the fact that you went for the crystals for the Wind Ranger, S4 doesn't have that direct attack into the SF, so that's going to cause him problems as well. Illidan's walking around with the Manta, but he's got 3.8k gold on this Drow as well. He could easily pick up the Eagle Song and go into Butterfly as well.
Oh, there's a DD in the... Oh, okay. So
that's nice.
That's very nice, actually. So that, I think, kind of makes up for the fact that Nuts isn't there at this fight. They have to be wary that he TP, but he's actually the one that can get back there the quickest with a Blink Dagger. So I think it's a good decision by Alliance to make him the one to go back and defend. Because if they see someone like Slaughter or a Doom, they're instantly going to go.
Crush, that Forstaff gets FNG out of trouble, and now they get Beast Grip on S4. Forstaff out a very long way. God's still going to go for this Requiem of Souls. It'll hit Espero on 4 on the edge, but now Doombringer back in the fight with a Sonic Wave hitting so hard. Nuts doesn't have a way out of this one. He jumped in with no exit strategy, and now Loader and Admiral Bulldog scampering themselves away. Bulldog, he won't get chased any further. In fact, it's Loader who, okay, it looked like for a moment he wanted to just blink himself back in again, but it was still on cooldown. And Roshan will start with 3 heroes down for Alliance. They can't contest Roshan. Great fight for VP.
You get an FNG with the plays. He kind of forced Alliance, like, okay, if you don't doom our Shadow Fiend, you're going to lose the fight. And he doomed him, but it was just a tiny bit too late. The Requiem had already come out, and from there, it was an easy team fight for VP to win. But, I mean, with a grip, too, they already had to commit a 4-step to the Wind Ranger. She's not doing any damage.
It always seems like VP are the ones who are getting the better initiation off in the fight, and they play it on their terms. Illidan is never on the front lines. Alliance can never reach him. So he just sits at the back. He had a 10-second BKB, which wasn't even required for that fight.
VP always have the lanes on their side, though, with the Broodlings, with the Familiars. Like, Alliance are the ones that have to TP back and potentially fight 4-on-5 and be like, okay, well, if we don't take the fight now, we have to defend, and then VP just take Roche. So it's just not a good position for Alliance. VP have the luxury of time.
Yep. And Alliance then, like, maybe that is also why you feel a little bit rushed. S4 was so low and just want to get out there, and Nuts like, okay, I've got to go in. Threw out the Sonic Wave, hit all of VP, but the mech just repairs most of the damage that was done.
They needed the Chain Frost, I think, earlier. They can also use Chain Frost to interrupt the SF. It looked like he was gusted, though, during that fight, but... Yep. Oh, they actually... I'm not sure if they saw the screen come out from Nuts, but this could be a really good time to push.
Nuts also needs to get the hell out of here. If he blinks backwards, he is dead. And then, with a 4-star pushing Drow Ranger forward, Nuts just wants to TP himself out to safety. The Nightmare cancels that. With a couple of races, they do bring him down. Buybacks available. This is... I don't even say a support Queen of Pain, but the Sonic Wave can be up if required. And now God, Amplify, the Shackle won't latch on Illidan.
He's still setting positives after the Amplify. That's actually pretty absurd.
Oh, for now. Maybe when Bulldog rotates himself down, but the Brute just wants to push in through that middle lane, but Bulldog, he initiates. This time they get on top of Illidan, and Illidan's so low, but FNG speed strip, it controls them up. The Drow Ranger will actually drop. That Lich only doing some considerable damage as Loader back in again with a crush, and the follow-up bash going through 3, but Godzilla has so much damage. S4, he'll burn through the Aegis. Meanwhile, amid Brute doing brutally things, taking out that melee Rax. Loader, he wants to try and fight. TP out, that's not going to work. The Shackle, however, controls up God. It's a rampage for God, and S4 has to retreat back out. That SF is just way too big for Alliance to deal with, and they have no buybacks on their dead heroes.
And again, another Requiem goes uninterrupted. That one had to come out from the Lich, though. And Alliance, I mean, they went with the best shot that they had. They saw the cheese on the Drow Ranger, so okay, we have to doom her, so she can't pop the cheese, and if we doom G, it's a lost fight. So they went with the best percentage plate that they had, and unfortunately, yeah, as you said, G is too strong.
Nah, he's so strong. Phobos is split pushing. They can't even grab a fight. They can't dictate the terms of these engagements. Alliance, even with good blink crushes, you get loaded with a triple kill, it's just like there's nothing else to follow up after that point. And VP, they got such sustainable damage. just because the SF is so huge. Admiral Bulldog, now with the blink forward, he really wants his kill over on God, and maybe they can get it, but they have to get through that evasion. Able to do so, S4, a little bit harder, and in fact, no, not when the Rays are there. God takes one, Bulldog's down for over a minute. RK is going to join him as Phobos just goes to work, throws back to front lines, and this really is the game. VP, they've controlled it perfectly. They've done the Dro proud. Low to a miss is done. Bane actually Fiend scripts over on the Slaughter. They'll switch the Nightmare over, but already VP with the extra stuns from the Familiars. S4 will drop. Phobos will survive to the bitter end. I think S4 just wants to get a little bit of revenge here. He can't reach him. In fact, he's going to get gussed up by Illidan. The tier 4 towers are attacked, and there it is. 11 to 22. Virtus Pro will end up taking the game against Alliance, eliminating them from this Frankfurt major.
I really like how G just stood up there in man mode. He's like, I am God, you cannot kill me.
He really is, and he had support everywhere across the map. The control was perfect from VP. They're on comfort heroes. The Familiars were dropping everywhere. The Broodmother was always adding pressure. Man, maybe Phobos went to that Russian, like, the Brood God, the Brood Master, who's been training up Mag. But he played in a wonderful game, a wonderful coordinated play from Virtus Pro. And I would be very scared if I was going against them in the next round.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for now. We're going to throw it back over to the analyst desk. They're itching